Good morning, my friends, and welcome to JC Bass Fishing Channel. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribe, hit that like button. If you are one of my subscribers, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about bass fishing during the summertime, and we're going to talk specifically grass and laydowns. So I'm going to show you basically the 5 lures or setups that I use during summertime to look for bass in grass areas and laydowns. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, so welcome back, and I'm glad you stay here. Let me go ahead and go straight to the point. Summertime, very hot. A lot of times you have clear skies. Sometimes you have some wind, sometimes you don't. It all depends the lake that you're fishing. If you got current or you don't have any current, you have a dam, they open the dam, you have some current. If you go to the south side and fish, or if you stay more in the middle of the lake, or if you go into creeks. And that's what we're going to be talking about, going into creek areas and fishing the grass. My number one, early in the morning, once I get out there and I start fishing the grass, my number one is a frog. I'm going to be fishing a frog. I don't think the color is really relative. I have caught them in the tiger color. I have caught them in a brown color, pure white, pure black. So it doesn't really matter as long as you're fishing the frog properly. The setup that I use a medium heavy 7.3 rod with 7:3:1 ratio reel, and I use 65-pound braid, because you're gonna get caught in the grass. The frog is gonna get caught in the grass every once in a while, and you're gonna have to rip it off. So this is my number one go-to, usually early in the morning, and you should be able to get some bites when it comes to this. If your frog is not working, we're gonna go to the number 2 setup, and that will be a buzzbait. You're gonna cast that buzzbait. That buzzbait is gonna go through the top of the grass, no problem. This one, I have it with a skirt. You can use a frog, plastic frog, put it in the bag. But I prefer the skirt. Sometimes I use the trailer, sometimes I don't. My setup, medium heavy rod, 7, with a 6:5:1 ratio reel, and my line is 17-pound vicious fishing line. And you gotta go heavy on the line, because the grass is gonna mess up your line. So you gotta check your line a lot of times. Make sure you retie so you don't have any problems. If you hook up a fish, you don't break off. But this will be my number 2. I cast this right over the grass, bring it through the grass and the edges of the grass. And everywhere I find a little hole that there is no grass, but there's grass around it, I cast it there, bring it over it, and it works very good. So if you need a little noise on top of the water more than what a frog is doing for you, this will be your number 2. My number 3 setup, when we're fishing grass, it's a swim jig. You can use a white swim jig, you can use a bluegill looking swim jig, you can use black and blue, green pumpkin. It really doesn't matter. It's gonna come through the grass with no problems. Every once in a while you're gonna hang up in the grass, so you gotta rip it off. But other than that, swim jig is your next go-to when it comes to fishing grass and laydowns. My reel is 7:3:1 ratio with 17-pound vicious fishing line, fluorocarbon, and the rod is 7, medium heavy. Very good setup to fish grass and laydowns. My number 4. If you're fishing fast and it's not working for you, then logically you gotta slow down some. And that's when the sun come up. It's around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Sun came up, it's getting hot. Fish are gonna get deeper into the grass. Then you go into flipping. And right here, I'll be flipping with a 3 straight shank, heavy wire, hook, 1 ounce. Depending on the thickness of the grass, you can go from half ounce to 3/4 to 1 ounce, depending on the thickness. 65-pound vicious fishing braid line and 7:3:1 ratio reel. My rod is an Enigma rod, 7/8, heavy. It's got a lot of backbone and a very fast tip, so that way you can keep that bass pinned down and you won't lose the fish. Lures, man, you can use any type of creature or crawdad, green pumpkin, black and blue are the colors that most people use, and that's where I stay. If you look right here, I have a green pumpkin creature bait, and that's what my basic setup for it. Just flip that grass and pull them out of the middle of the grass, because once the sun gets set up and it gets hot, they're gonna get deeper into that grass. Another one for your laydowns. When you're fishing around laydowns, I mean, you're fishing grass and all of a sudden you run into a laydown, then you got your modifying shaky head. Shaky head never fails. Use a shaky head with a 6-inch straight tail worm, whichever color, green pumpkin, June bug, black and blue, black, whichever you feel that it's gonna work for you, and you just flip it right there between the trees, and it should get you a bite, because the fish are gonna get tight to those trees, and you can flip it or you can cast it. Usually what I do, since I'm running down the grass and I'm pretty close to it, what I do is I just go ahead and flip the shaky head around those trees, around the edges of the grass, if they still out in the edge, and you can get the bites right there. So those are the 5 setups that I use for grass during the summertime. So I hope this helps somebody out there and catch some fish. I don't have to go into a lot of details where it comes to the lures and all that, because it all depends the lake you're fishing and the lures the bass hit the most in your lakes. So with that said, the regular colors that a lot of people use, green pumpkin, June bug, black and blue. So those, you can go wrong with those colors. I hope that can help somebody out there. Go fishing, tight lines, have a good one.